It's an interesting way.
Okay. Hello, I'm Dr. Joe Poyman, Executive Director of Texas Alliance for Life. Welcome to our weekly live update. We're honored to have a very special guest today, the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton. I've known and worked with Ken Paxton since he was first elected to the Texas House of Representatives in 2002, where he served for 10 years. And then he was elected to the Texas Senate, where he served for 2 years. During that time in the legislature, he supported some landmark pro-life bills, including the Prenatal Protection Personhood Act, the Sonogram Law, Senate Bill 7 to defund Planned Parenthood, and House Bill 2 that raised abortion facility safety standards, including for medication, RU46 abortions, and banned abortions after 20 weeks. He also supported the highly successful Alternatives to Abortion program. Those laws are saving lives today. In 2014, Ken Paxton was elected to be the 51st Attorney General of Texas, where he has served with distinction. Many people are unaware that General Paxton leads more than 4,000 employees, including 750 attorneys who handle more than 30,000 cases a year. Under General Paxton's leadership, the agency's Child Support Division is recognized as the most successful and cost-effective program in the nation, collecting more than $4 billion a year for Texas families. As Attorney General, Mr. Paxton defends our laws when they are attacked in the federal courts, and he has done that very aggressively, particularly in challenges to laws regulating the abortion industry. General Paxton's wife, Angela Paxton, is the state senator from McKinney, and she authored one of the major pro-life bills last session, the trigger ban on abortion. Attorney General Paxton, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Hey, glad to be here. I hope you're having a great day. It's a beautiful day in the Dallas area for sure.
Well, yes, thank you. Ken, we wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about the challenge to the governor's executive order. And that's the order that had to do with conserving protective equipment that is used for healthcare providers fighting the coronavirus on the front line. What do you think is the significance between the governor's executive order, and why did you feel it was important to clarify that abortions were included in that executive order?
So the governor it's clearly has the authority to issue these executive orders during a time of crisis or a state disaster. And so he determined, after consultation with us, but ultimately he makes the decision of what the wording is going to be and how it's going to be implemented, and decided that he wanted to conserve not just equipment, but also people, resources, beds. So, you know, doctors, nurses, hospital beds, PPE equipment. So once he put that through, it applied to all elective procedures. Unless you needed a procedure to save your life or it was something significantly affecting your ability to survive, the governor wanted those all stopped. And we didn't single out any particular type of surgery. We mentioned in our press release ophthalmology, dermatology, dentistry, and abortion providers. So everyone was being treated the same. No one was being singled out for worse treatment or better treatment. It just that the abortion industry was the only group that wanted to be relieved of those restrictions.
Yes, and now you issued that letter a day after the the governor's executive order, and shortly after that, several abortion providers in Texas filed in federal court here in Austin to try to get that executive order suspended with regard to certain abortion facilities, Planned Parenthood, Whole Women's Health, Southwestern's in Dallas, Austin Women's here in Austin, and the judge did issue a temporary restraining order. Then you responded very quickly. Can you explain why you filed a petition for writ of mandamus in the Fifth Circuit, and why you felt it was important to do that?
So writ of mandamus is pretty unusual for us to file to the Fifth Circuit. I can't actually remember us filing a writ of mandamus since I've been in office. I'm sure we have. I just don't. It's not a very common practice. And we're in a pretty extreme situation here. We've got a virus that is killing thousands of Americans. It's killing Texans. And so we didn't have time to wait for it's a temporary restraining order. We were supposed to have a hearing, a week and a half later on a permanent, whether it was going to be permanent injunction. Well, we didn't have time to wait. In between that time, we're losing potentially people in Texas. And so we needed to get that order in place and make sure that we were protecting as many Texans as we could. And so that's why we filed the writ of mandamus. We felt like we had to get this done quickly or we were going to lose people.
And the protective equipment that we need to conserve is used by healthcare providers, right? Doctors and nurses to protect themselves from the virus so they are able to treat other patients. If we have a shortage of it, then they can't treat the patients. We're hearing in some places in the country, 20% of healthcare workers are getting infected. So this really is a pretty imminent threat to the health and safety of Texans.
Yeah, we were watching what was going on around the country, and we knew that it was a threat to Texas. And so, look, it's very inconvenient, and it does create some major problems for people that need health care. And I have a friend that can barely see right now. He needs eye surgery. Well, it's not making his life easier that he can't see right now, and I'm really sorry that that's happening. There is a sacrifice going on, and people are suffering that really do need some health care provided. But the reality is we're in a pandemic. We've not been in a pandemic in my lifetime. And, the governor's trying to do the very best he can to save as many lives as possible. And we're trying to help.
The Fifth Circuit is, I guess, the boss of the district court here in Austin, Judge Lee Yackel's boss in a sense. And it seems they completely agreed with your petition for a writ of mandamus. What is the effect of the court's decision then?
So the effect of the court's decision was that the executive order that the governor put into place on all elective procedures, again, it doesn't apply to just one practice area. It applies to all practice areas, including abortion providers. Right now, until the governor determines that the pandemic is no longer a threat, those elective procedures can't be done.
Now, we noticed that the abortion providers were not content with that. They went back to federal court and filed another suggestion for the request for the Judge Lee Yackel in Austin to issue another temporary restraining order, limiting enforcement of that executive order. And then we just saw last evening or yesterday afternoon at about 4:30, Judge Yackel again issued another temporary restraining order, and that applies to Planned Parenthood, Whole Women's Health, Southwestern in Dallas, and Austin Women's here in Austin, and allows them to perform abortions using the RU46 abortion drug and certain late abortions. And we noticed that you have quickly responded to that just this morning in the Fifth Circuit. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so same issue. I mean, we got the ruling late yesterday, and we don't have time to wait. So we filed that. My team worked pretty much all night long to get a petition ready to ask the court, the Fifth Circuit in New Orleans, to stay the ruling of the judge. And then we would ask the Fifth Circuit later if they agree with us to permanently stay that. So right now the plan is for the judge and the district judge is supposed to have a hearing on the temporary restraining order to make it permanent in like 9 days. Well, we don't have 9 days, so we filed immediately.
Yes, and I think people need to realize, do they not, that this executive order is not a ban on all abortions, it's a delay. The governor was just asking to delay these for several weeks. And then of course he may reevaluate, but this is not a complete ban on abortion indefinitely. It's just a delay. So you have a friend, an acquaintance that had to delay some eye surgery. I'm hearing of cancer patients who have to delay surgery to treat that cancer until after this time period. So I guess we all have to take this seriously, and we're wondering, why do the abortion providers think they are special, that they get special treatment?
I don't know if I don't. It's hard for me to understand that, especially in light of the potential loss of life, and why they wouldn't care about saving lives like the rest of us. I mean, every other medical profession, as far as I know, has been supportive of this, or at least not taking us to court and suing us over it. And they've been very cooperative. And this is the only group of doctors and providers that have fought it and have asked for the opportunity to continue to economically prosper during this time, and to also provide services during a time when nobody else is asking to do that. So it's a little shocking that they are so insistent that they are special and they should be treated better than everybody else. They're not getting treated any differently. And I will admit, this is very inconvenient. It's not easy for anybody, but they're saying, no, we're special. We don't need to be treated like everybody else. We should be treated better. And that is their argument.
General Paxton, thank you so much for being here. You and your team have been doing incredible work. I think the nation is watching, and you've just been a fantastic example for other states. We thank you for all you're doing to defend life, to defend the health and safety of Texans, and especially thank you and your team for being available on this Good Friday.
Well,
we wish you and your family well.
Thank you, and I wish happy Easter to all of your viewers. God bless.